Love and marriage. My grandmother had an arranged marriage at age 9. She hadn't even hit puberty yet when she was married. She told me once that she didn't even get her first menstrual period until after she had her first newborn baby. That's how young she was. Surprisingly, she married a kind man. He was gentle, loved her, and treated her well. They had a daughter together, but he died fighting during the Revolutionary War on September 26, 1962. Tragically, he never got to meet his newborn daughter. My grandmother was left, in her grief, heartbroken and terrified, with a little newborn baby. In Middle Eastern culture, being widowed or divorced, even during these modern days, is considered damaging for a young woman and a burden on her family. My grandmother's father arranged another marriage for her as quickly as he possibly could. I'm not sure who raised her baby daughter, my aunt. It was never mentioned in our family, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't good because later in life my aunt committed suicide. The family rarely talked about it, her and her suicide. My grandmother ended up marrying my grandfather, my mother's father. He was a lot older than my grandmother, at least 25 years older, if not more. I think she was maybe 12 years old when they got married. During that time, babies were born at home, and there was no hospital or institution that issued birth certificates. So even my parents are not sure of their exact birth years. For religious reasons, birthdays are rarely celebrated in Yemen. The belief is that being born is not important and celebrating one's birthday is egotistic. Only religious holidays should be celebrated. In Yemen, where both my parents come from, arranged marriage still exists and is commonly practiced. Women are treated like sheep. They are bought and sold by their fathers to husbands chosen for them. A dowry is involved. A prospective husband pays a lump sum to the father in exchange for his daughter. It's a business deal between two men, with very little say from the women of the families involved, including the bride-to-be. Since men and women do not socialize in that region, not in school, restaurants, social gathering, or even weddings, women have to cover up in black from head to toe, wearing a hijab or burqa. Men rarely see women behind the black veil, unless it's their mother or sister. More about that process will be discussed in later chapters. My grandfather was married to 3 other women at the same time that he was married to my grandmother, and during his life, married 11 women in total. Even in modern times, a man is legally allowed to be married to 4 wives at the same time in Muslim religion. My grandmother was considered a rare beauty because she was light-skinned. Like in most of the world, especially during that time, the color of one's skin determines their level of privilege and beauty. So she was his favorite, the young pretty one. My grandfather was violent, cheap, and unpleasant. Even though she was his favorite, he still treated her poorly, brutally, physically, and emotionally abusing her whenever he felt like it. He knew she didn't love him and used the other wives to make her jealous. Ironically, my grandmother was never jealous of the other wives. I remember her telling me in her soft-spoken, gentle way, "He thought I would get pissed when he spent the night with one of the other wives. Huh, that old grouchy old man. I was just happy that he was away from me. It was the only time I felt safe and could have a peaceful night of sleep." Grandma lived a very fearful and sad life. It breaks my heart that she never got to experience love, other than that brief marriage that lasted less than 2 years with her first husband, whom she never forgot. When she would talk about him, it was the only time I would see her face light up. Grinning gently, she would say, "I heard that in heaven you get to pick which husband you want to reunite with. And you know what? I'm going to choose the first one." His loving memory lived with her until the very last days of her life. Healing is possible. In yoga philosophy, there is a concept about seeds. It states that your current reality, the life that you have right now, with everything in it, the good and the not so good, is the results of seed that you planted in the past. In this moment and every moment, you are planting seed with your thoughts. What you are thinking will grow and flourish in your future. Every time you think or talk about those seeds, you are watering and tending to them until they become a garden that is your life. That is why the present moment, or as Eckhart Tolle calls it, the now, is considered sacred in most ancient philosophies, wisdom traditions, and religions. Modern science is now finally able to measure and prove what is happening in the brain. It is catching up with what the yogis known for thousands of years. We know now from a neuroscientific level, if you are not fully aware of the present moment, then the subconscious mind will take over. Whatever program in the subconscious mind, whether positive or negative, is making all the decisions for you. Therefore, creation is happening in the present moment. What you are thinking right now, the way you are thinking it, your mindset, what you are feeling, the way you are being, your habitual vibration in this present moment is a seed that will create your future. The words I am are the most powerful words in our existence. Whatever word you say after the words I am, that is who you become. Be very careful what you say after these two sacred words. If you say, I am poor, I am an idiot, I'm a loser, then that is who you become. That is the seed that you're planting that will grow in your future. That is how you create a cycle that repeats itself. If you replace those expressions of limiting beliefs with empowering truths and say, I am worthy, I am intelligent, I am loved, then that is what you create. That is the seed that you are planting that will grow and manifest in your garden, your reality. If you plant a rotten seed, rotten fruits will sprout. If you plant good, healthy seeds, nourishing and fresh fruits will sprout. There is an intelligent consciousness that resides within you. It is an organizing intelligence. It is the same intelligence that is circulating the earth around the sun without missing a beat. Your brain is listening to every word you say. Your brain is like a GPS. If you type in the destination, it will take you exactly where you want to go. The more specific you are, the easier it will be for you to arrive at your exact destination. For example, if you are in New York and you want to travel to California and type in the destination in your GPS, California, then the GPS will take you to California. It might take you to the most dangerous city and neighborhood in California, or it might take you to Bel Air, or to one of the most gorgeous beaches in Malibu. But if you type in the street number, street name, city, and state, then it will take you exactly to that specific location. Most people focus on the past because they view it as evidence of their reality and call it being realistic. They've never been to Bel Air. They're looking at what is in front of them, the current reality. But what is in front of them is a result of seeds that were planted in the past. And as they focus on what is in front of them, meaning the fruit of past rotten seeds, they create more of that. You must plant new healthy seeds, seeds that you won't find in your current reality because they don't exist yet. Your current reality is based on past rotten seeds. That's why you need to use your imagination. Be creative, find inspiration, be resourceful, and have a strong belief system because you're creating something that you have not seen or experienced in the past. There are also seeds planted by your parents before you were even born and their parents before them. Your existence itself is a result of a seed that was planted. Some people call it karma. Some people call it cause and effect. Those limiting beliefs that were planted by your parents and their parents before them in your subconscious mind during your early formative years were also seeds. Those seeds continue to grow and manifest in areas in your life where you now struggle and feel stuck. My grandmother was married twice. My mother was married twice. I was married twice. When I fled to the United States in 2006, I left all that turmoil back behind me in Yemen. But Yemen didn't leave me. I was still thinking the same deeply rooted, fearful thoughts and recreating the same generational results, just with different characters in my life. Of course, I struggled with dating, relationships, men, sex, trust, giving and receiving love. My mind was living in the past, even though my body is in the present. It wasn't until I stepped into my first yoga class that I learned what the practice of embodiment means, to embody the reality that I want to create. How does it feel to be safe in my body? How does it feel to feel powerful in my body? For example, a pose like Warrior One or Virabhadrasana One, you're making yourself big and taking up space. You are priming your body to look like a warrior. Since yoga, when taught traditionally, is a meditative practice, the mind begins to catch up. Research has shown that the poses access certain areas in the brain that correspond with ferocity and courage. When you change your physiology, meaning your body, you are changing your brain. The Lazar Lab in Harvard University, led by Sara Lazar, PhD, studies the impact of yoga and meditation on various cognitive and behavioral functions. Their results suggest that meditation can produce experience-based structural alterations in the brain. They also found evidence that meditation may slow down the age-related atrophy of certain areas of the brain. When I stepped into my first yoga class, I heard for the first time in my life the voice of self-love. Practicing yoga and meditation completely healed and transformed me, shedding and sweating off the limiting beliefs and victim narratives, one pose at a time, one breath at a time, and one meditation practice at a time. Only then did I feel strong enough in my body and strong enough in my mind to step into my own power and manifest my best life, doing the work that I deeply love, passing along the teachings of yoga that saved my life. This was an excerpt from my upcoming memoir, Stay tuned for more. P.S. My memoir is complete and it has been sitting on my laptop for months, staring at me like, now what? So if you know a publisher or can help slip it to Oprah or Reese, I'll owe you yoga classes for life.